Okay, Hux, we're back. And we are still looking at covalent bonds. This time we're going to talk about what type of elements form covalent bonds. And we're still on our track of I will explain how molecules are formed. Okay, so remember that molecules are formed using covalent bonds, right? And those covalent bonds involve the sharing of electron pairs between atoms. Okay? Those bonds form between nonmetals and nonmetals. So if you're looking at a molecule, which is bonded with a covalent bond, you're always going to be dealing with nonmetals. Hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, um, bromine, anything in the on the right hand side of the periodic table, right, in that non-metal section. Okay. um Covalent bonds, unlike ionic bonds, they can form in different ways. So covalent bonds have three different ways that they can form. One is called a single bond, and that is where each atom shares one pair of electrons. Okay, we symbolize that by putting a line between the two elements. So, for example, in this diatomic element, or sorry, diatomic molecule, I have chlorine and chlorine, and then I have a line in between saying that these are bonded. And in this case, they're sharing two electrons. Okay. That's what we mean by a pair. They're sharing two electrons. These are the longest bond, which means that they're the farthest apart. They're also the weakest of the three. Okay. The second one are the double bonds. And double bonds happen when each atom shares two pairs of electrons. Now, in my examples, I show here I have oxygen, and they're sharing four electrons, two bonds. That's a double bond. But it doesn't always have to be the same element. It can be more than one element. It can also be where you have one single bond and one double bond. Okay. It's not set that you have to have all double bonds or all single bonds. It can be mixed. Okay. Double bonds are medium in length, so they're pulling just a little bit closer together. They have the medium strength, so they're a little bit stronger than the single bonds. And and remember, they share four electrons. The last one is the triple bond. The triple bond is a bond where each atom shares three pairs of electrons. That's six electrons. They share six electrons. Remember, each line denotes a bond, and that bond has two electrons to it. So I have, in this bond, I have 2, 4, 6. So I have six electrons in this bond. These are the shortest bonds, so it pulls the two elements together very closely. It's also the strongest. It's really hard to break these apart. Okay. And then they usually happen when you're talking about elements like carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur. Um, those are the ones that can form like double and triple bonds. Most of the other ones don't have enough room for electrons to do that. However, it is possible for them to create a triple bond. Okay, and we'll talk more about that when we talk about how do these bonds actually form. Where do they come from? Why do we get a double bond versus a single bond, or a triple bond versus a single bond? Okay. All right. So we know that we have covalent bonds, and we know that covalent bonds share electrons. Okay. We know that single bonds share one pair of electrons. Double bonds share two pairs of electrons, and triple bonds share three pairs of electrons. So now you should be able to explain how molecules are formed with single, double, or triple bonds.